Alright, what's up guys? Vivi back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out Red-Blue Nefeltari Vivi. We're going to be doing a deep dive, a comprehensive guide style video into this leader, but it's actually going to be, I feel like it's not figured out yet. So this is going to be more of the brainstorming deck tech style video where it's like we need to figure out how to make this leader work. Because there are quite a few functions, or excuse me, quite a few functions. Yeah, there's quite a few directions we can go with this leader going forward. And we're going to talk about it more in this video, but just to kind of put the ideas in your mind. Number one is just like a strong curve with the deck where we can just have the best cards we can find for that, you know, for that cost slot, right? Like just to play on curve. Then there's also the option of running the new very strong blue package of 7 Warlords of the Sea. And then at the very, you know, the very last one I want to talk about is something they're starting to experiment with over in the East. And that's maybe a new Animal Alabasta Kingdom hybrid Chopper aggro deck, pretty much. And like I said, we will talk about that more as we get into the video. But we have to figure out what is the way to go with this leader. And I want to know what you guys have to say about it, what you guys think about it. You know, please tell me in the comment section below which direction you think is best for this leader. You know, more aggro, like I was saying with the rush stuff. More mid-range where you just have a strong curve, or like this hybrid mid-range board fill version with 7 Warlords of the Sea, or maybe something you've stumbled across you want to share in the comment section below. Try to help us out. All right, so let's, you know, we'll talk more about that as we get into the video though. So let me give you guys a quick layout of how this video is going to go. First, we're going to check out some deck lists from the East mainly, and I think we might have one to check out from the West. Then we're going to go over some games on the Sim. I've got three games lined up for us today on the Sim. And then we will check out the deck list, and then we'll finish off with a art critique. Back to the art critiques. Don't worry, guys. Like I said, I wasn't going to end those forever. Just needed a little break from it. Okay. Here we go, guys. And I shouldn't even say I needed a break from it. It was just a simple matter of like the way my videos were. It just didn't make sense to add them at the end of those. But we're back on schedule now, guys. We're back to it. Let's dive into this. Nefeltari Vivi, red-blue leader. I'm going to read what she does, and then we'll go from there. We'll talk about the deck lists. So this is a 5,000 power, 5 life leader, okay? And it's dual colored. So that's not standard stats. So how does Bandai balance this? They chose to make it where this leader cannot attack. I'm not a big fan of that, to be completely honest. Unless the effect is just unbelievable, then I don't really see a way to justify taking a leader's attack away. Because that's just too much, right? Like, it's like, okay, yeah, but if you use this character's attack, or excuse me, if you use this character's activate main every single turn, you'll get to draw a card every single turn. It's like, yes, but that doesn't actually, in my opinion, that doesn't quite counter out what's happening, right? Because your opponent gets to swing for 5,000 at you every turn with their leader. So that one extra card you're drawing every turn is going to the trash, right? Because of the leaders of, you know, because you're just being attacked. And what happens when they start swinging for 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s? Well, now that one card you're drawing every turn doesn't compensate, and your leader just cannot attack, period. Now, I'm not saying it's that, you know, the math is not that basic on it, right? Because giving certain characters rush is insane, right? Giving certain characters rush is extremely powerful. But it's still, in the grand scheme of things, it does kind of still actually add up to be like that, where it's like, wait a minute, because my leader cannot attack, I cannot challenge the board in the way that I normally should be able to if I had, you know, a leader that could. But either way, we're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about it. Excuse me, because one thing I do want to mention before we go any further is as we approach the late game, when you have more Dawn to work with, this leader's effect becomes stronger and stronger and stronger over the course of the game. And then being able to give characters rush that normally should not have rush, you know, characters like Boa Hancock, the OP07 6-cost 8K, you know, characters like Rayleigh coming out in OP08. You know, these cards are extremely powerful. So if you give them rush on top of their normal effect, it makes it that much more powerful, and you're drawing a card from the effect as well. So, you know, we will dive into this. We'll talk about it more and more. But keep that in mind as you're thinking of how this deck could work. Because there are a lot of directions we can go now with it, especially going into OP08. We're about to be in OP07 over here in the West, right? We're just a week away from pre-release over here in the West at the time when we're recording this video. So, cannot wait for that. But whenever that happens, we will have access to almost everything we're going to see today. But we will look at 2 deck lists, I think, that are inspired from the 1 or 2 lists that are inspired from OP08 from the East. Okay, so we know what the leader does now. Or actually, did I read it? So I said the 5,000 power, 5 life part. This leader cannot attack, but it has activate main once per turn, pay 2, so it only costs 2, draw 1 card, and up to 1 of your characters gains rush during this turn. Very, very strong. That's a very strong effect. but is it not enough to compensate for not being able to attack? That becomes the question you have to ask yourself. So this first list here, let me show you guys real quick. We are on the Japanese EB01, so the OP06.5 meta is what I would call it. And if you check their results for Vivi, three lists come up, right? 3 decks come up. We're going to go through them all the way from bottom to top. Okay, so this is the list we were just on. It's running 4 Otamas, 4 Sanjis, 4 Marco, the 5-cost Marco, not the blocker, 4 Shanks, 4 Shiraya, 4 Little Ors Jr., 4 Borsalino, 4 Pudding, 4 Boa Hancock, 4 Radbeam, 4 Rebellious Kick Horse, 4 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers, and 2 Gum Gum Rains. So 4 of everything, just a very clean list. And this was a 4-0 list that got first place at a store battle. It wasn't a flagship, but hey, it was a store battle. And check this out, it actually says what it won against. It beat a Yamato, so green-yellow Yamato, I would assume, 2 Enels, and a Bonnie. And I will say this, I do think the deck struggles more against decks that are like black, like decks that have very strong on-pace removal while establishing bodies. But still, those aren't no names, right? You know, Yamato, Enels, and Bonnies. That's not nothing, I guess, right? So good stuff there. And now let's kind of break it down. It looks like it's only running 8 2K counters, 4 Otamas, 4 Sanjis. These are very solid. Sanji's actually a very nice heads-up play. And it kind of makes sense to me how they were beating Enels. Because Enel could potentially starve you, you know, and then hit you hard with Yamatos, right? They're Yamatos, they're 9-cost Yamatos, and they're Gidatsus. They can pop whatever you're trying to play in the early game. But Sanji says, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll just start drawing my own life cards and go about things that way. Because if you look down here at the bottom, look at this defensive package, guys. 4 Radbeams, 4 Rebellious Kick Horse, and 2 Gum Gum Rains. It doesn't really have that many bricks, to be honest. It only has 4 Shanks, 4 Borsalino, and 4 Boa Hancock. But I guess technically you could consider like Radbeam, well not Radbeam, but like Gravity Blade Raging Tiger a brick as well. Because if you can't use it that turn, you need, you know, it's better when you can convert it into counter power. It's running 4 Puddings. This card is just outstanding, and in a deck like this, you can actually give this card Rush if you need to, you know, with the leader effect. Little Ors Jr. Let's take a second to talk about this card because I think everyone knows pretty much the other cards. And guys, if you don't know these cards and you want to like look at them and study it more, go to OnePieceTopDecks.com. Okay. All right. So Little Ors Jr. This is a 6-cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter card. So that is already just slightly under the power level of a vanilla. But let's see what his once per turn effect is. Check this out. If this character would be KO'd by an effect, you may trash an event or stage card from your hand instead. Okay, check it out. Same thing as Marco, right? On KO, you may trash 1 event card from your hand and then play this character from your trash rested. So Little Ors Jr. prevents the KO effect from happening, but Marco lets gets KO'd first, and then you bring him back from the trash by trashing an event card from your hand. So it starts making sense why they're running 14 events, guys. 14 events is almost 25% of the deck, right? Because if 15, excuse me, I'm thinking of a 60-card deck. Guys, I was way off there. So, yeah, 14 cards, that is like over a quarter of the deck, isn't it? I think. I got to do the math on it, but I think, so if 10 cards is 20% of the deck. So, yeah, I would say it's somewhere around there. It's probably right around like 30% of the deck or something like that. I don't have a calculator on me right now, and I'm not going to bring one up, but you guys get the point. That is a large percentage of the deck is just straight events. Then you got the 8 2K counters. But then everything else in the deck list, guys, I mean, yeah, you do have a little bit of, you have Pudding for a little bit of utility, and you also have Shiraya for a blocker. This is a solid blocker. Pause it and read it if you don't know what it does. But everything else in this list is gas, guys. Look at this list. 4 Boa Hancocks, okay? Shuts down anything but a Monkey D. Luffy character for the turn. And then you can bottom deck a 1 or less if you need to. You've got Borsalino, and this card can have haste. Remember, Rush. The Magic the Gathering, right? But any card in this deck you can give Rush to except for Shanks. But that's a 10-cost 12K that pops a 10,000 power character when it enters play. You don't necessarily need to give that character Rush. You know what I mean? So really good stuff there. Really, really good stuff. But that's really about it. Let's move on to the next list. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. This list is just favoring all of the best cards you can get in the red and blue card pool. Just the most efficient cards you can find for red and blue. Let's see what the next list looks like. And these should all be from OP0, or excuse me, these were from OP06.5, guys. I'm sorry if I said OP07. or hang on, let me go back real quick, guys. I'm sorry. Decks and OP07 are from February 24th onward. Yeah, so this is OP07. Excuse me, guys. This is from OP07 and onward. Okay, I just don't see any OP07 cards in here. And you guys help me out. Tell me if I'm missing something, but I don't believe there are. But hey, either way, that's actually not the worst thing, right? Because it means you'll be able to play this deck list right now. Okay, you'll be able to put this deck list together currently in its current state. So here's the new list right here, guys, or the next one we're looking at. 4 Otama, 4 of the Super Spot Build Duck Squad. This is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 2K counter. Animal Alabasta Kingdom, guys. That will come up later. We will talk about this later. Okay, very cool stuff there. Shanks, it's running 2 of the Kyros as well. Big boy, the draw 4 Kyros. Shiraya, Little Ors Jr., Borsalino, Pudding, Boa. And this list is pretty much all the same. The only thing they added is the Happiness Punch. This is a really nice card, and I was surprised the other list was not running it. It's a 1-cost minus 3,000 power card, but you can split it across 2 bodies. So it's going to help you deal with the boards that go really wide. So for 1 cost counter, up to 1 of your opponent's leader or characters gets minus 2,000 power during this turn. And then after that, if your leader is active, up to 1 of your opponent's leaders or characters gets minus 1,000 power during this turn. So as long as you didn't swing, you can hit 2 different targets. 1 for 2,000, 1 for 1,000. So really good stuff. Right, like this. And I believe you can also hit, after that, if your leader's active, up to 1 of your opponent's leaders. Yeah, then you can still hit the same target to just give like 1 target minus 3,000. So very, very powerful effect there. And then all the other stuff is the same. They're using the same idea with the Little Ors Jr., where they have tons of events to get rid of in case they need to save this card for the once per turn effect. But this list is not running. Yeah, this list is not running the, let me make sure there's 51 cards. Yeah, it is. It's not running the Marcos. So even though it is running the Otama, it's not running the Marcos. But not the worst thing in the world. This list still looks really solid. And guys, this got top 8 out of 78 player store or shop championship, right? A Shumai Cup 78 player. It got top 8. I wish it showed everyone it played against, but guys, that is not bad, right? Like you could see there's some potential there, but it's like there needs to be. Let me say this, like before I go any further, I just have to rant for a little bit. We're starting to see like special like chemistry between certain cards for certain colors. Like for example, the one that comes to my head immediately is for like the black card pool, right? You have this thing going on now where as long as you put a certain combination of cards in there, the deck will do well, period. And in black, it is Gecko, Rebecca, and then you can kind of fit the Navy package around it, but I prefer going Brook. Some people don't like Brook as much, but I think Brook is really solid. And then you can still fit like the Helmeppos in there, the Surus and all that. So as long as you have like this 20 to 25 card package of stuff within the black card pool, you know the deck is just going to at least be solid. It's at least going to be decent. But then like, I mean, I don't know what it is for every card pool. Like green has like the Supernova stuff, to be honest. That seems like it's kind of the best way to go currently. But for red and blue, red, you're trying to go more like of the rush stuff, in my opinion, right? Like there's just really good rushers in red. Well, that kind of negates the purpose of running this leader, right? If you're going to make your entire deck list red, then, you know, you're going to go the rush cards that are already in there. But there are a few other options, of course, right? There's the stuff that pop based on KO, right? And that's what they're exploiting in this, or that's what they're using in this deck. But then with blue, it's more of the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff that's just becoming this incredible package you can splash across anything that runs blue. And by the way, we will be messing with that in the video that or in the games I'll show you on the sim today. So that's this list. Not a whole lot more to talk about here. Let me do the last one. This was a first place deck list at something called the Leader Cup, some type of store battle. I don't know how many people were in this tournament, but the list, guys, looks very similar to what we saw. The only few cards, we only got to look at a few new cards in this list. It's running, oops, how many was it? Three Baccarat. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter blocker with on opponent's attack once per turn, trash 1 card from your hand, give up to 1 of your leaders or characters plus 2,000 power during this battle. So this is just a solid 3-cost, 4K, 1K counter blocker, which, you know, later in the game you can give it Rush for 2 extra Dawn, and then give it 1 extra Dawn to put on it to swing for 5 if you need to. Right, but either way, there's a 3-cost 4K blocker that allows you to get a 2K counter out of hand just by trashing something like a Borsalino or a Shanks or a Kaido, you know, a card you normally could not get a counter from, or any of these cards down here if you absolutely need to for a counter. So that's the Baccarat there, and this one's actually running 2 Gions for the 2K counter spot. This is specifically for Nami. That is the whole point of this card, is to battle against Nami. But guys, I just find Pudding to be better. I've mentioned this before, and I hate to beat a dead horse here. I'm not trying to just, you know, I'm not trying to do all the repetition. But guys, I just feel like Charlotte Pudding is just straight up one of the best answers to Nami. Because if you're not attacking, they're just drawing cards, going up to like a 10, 12 card hand, and you drop a Pudding, and now you get to go one more turn of progression. Yeah, I mean, you get to go through one more whole entire turn of progression. That's just my personal opinion. But Gion's fine too. If you can double it up, play both of them, then hey, seems good. Okay, but other than that, the only other card in here we have not seen yet is Ulti. This is a 4-cost 5k, 1k counter on play. If your leader is multicolored, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and check this out, guys. Add 1 to your hand, you do not reveal it, then place the rest in any order on the top or bottom of your deck. So you can draw 1, you don't even have to reveal it, and then you can put the remaining 2 on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So this card, I thought this was like one of the best searchers we had ever seen, and I still think it is a very strong searcher. But guys, I guess like the cold hard reality of like the direction this game is going is on turn 4 or 4 dawn turn. On a 4 dawn turn or higher, if that character does not have some type of insanely powerful effect that will help me carry into the next round, like with some momentum, then you just can't play it. And with this character in particular, they're only running 1 in this list. It's a cool one-of card to run, that's for sure. But it's also just like, I don't know. I'm still waiting for the deck list that will have like the perfect application for this searcher, because I think this card's incredible, guys. I think this card's absolutely insane. The types aren't really good for most stuff that's in blue currently. There's not really many blue Animal Kingdom Pirates decks unless you're going like into Kaido or something. But then see, so there you go. Instead of like trying to KO or something on turn 2 for your 4 dawn turn, they're trying to ramp on turn 2. So this card just kind of falls by the wayside because it's just in a bad spot for that cost. But either way, very solid character here, and they're just running it as a one-of. Everything else we've already seen, pretty standard. And I would consider this direction for the deck, like I said, I think there's 3 main directions to go with the deck currently. All 3 that we just looked at are based on like what is just the best character you can find at every cost for this color pool. And that's why you have, they're just playing Shanks because they can just pop something right away. That's why they're playing Kaido to draw more cards. That way they can aggressively counter out and still get a full effect from the leader effect, drawing a bunch of cards. Boa Hancock is just a strong lockdown card to help you get later into the game and all that good stuff there. Okay, so that is it for the stuff from the OP07 or, from the East from OP07. Now, I do want to look at one more list before we move over to something else real quick. This is a list I came across, I think yesterday or today. I can't even remember. 17 hours ago. So it was kind of like, it was like last night for me, basically, right? Check this out, guys. Let me turn the volume off just in case I hit play. This list has an interesting idea going on. Let me move my head. I'm so glad I looked over. Okay, this list has a very interesting idea going on for it, right? Where it's like, okay, let's use the red-blue Nefeltari Vivi set with the new stuff coming out from OP08 with Chopper and all these animal characters, all the Choppers. In fact, you got 3 Choppers in this deck. And then you got this, and you can search up a lot of it with the Straw Hat Crew type. And yeah, in fact, remember guys, Red Rock is also Straw Hat Crew searchable, and I believe this card is as well. This one on this the event that I'm trying to just like click on right here that has the circle. You'll see that on the far right. I believe that event is also searchable, and maybe a few others. It's an interesting idea. Let me bring my face back now. This is an interesting idea, but it still needs to be explored and it still needs to be figured out. Because, guys, I tried it. I tried this a little bit last night. Let me just say, it did not go well for me. Did not go well for me. Okay, one more thing we have to check out is, you guys know I'm always talking about OnePieceTopDecks.com. Well, there's another site now. It is a Portuguese site, so as long as you don't mind dealing with translations, 8TCG.com. Okay, I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I'm just saying, guys, if you're a spice hunter like me, where you're looking for all the spicy new deck lists out there, found another site, guys. These guys record all the stuff they get. You go to One Piece, you go to Result. It says Resultados. Okay, and check this out, guys. Whoa, look at that. What's this? Nefeltari Vivi on here, by the way. Good stuff. And this list is very similar to what we just saw. Notice what, let me go full screen with this. There we go. Notice this list, guys. Very similar to what we just saw. So if you're trying to run red-blue Nefeltari Vivi in OP07, which is coming out, like I said, a week away for us in the West, this might be one of the lists you want to check out and try. A very heavy event list that gets around a lot of KO with your little Ors Jr. and your Marco, has some cost reduction, and has strong 2K counter presence, has a very strong late game, and then your leader, let me see what happens if you click this. Nice, it actually zooms. That was the first time I tried that feature. I'm glad it worked out so well. But notice this, guys. This leader effect can draw you a card every single turn, guys, if you need it to. And you have all these defensive events down here. Really good stuff here. Okay, and I do plan on using this event quite a bit more in the future. Whoops, let me hit back a few times. I didn't know it was going to do that. Because check this out, guys. Okay, so I'm just kind of scrolling through. You can look at whatever you want to on here. But there's another feature I noticed. Okay, and this was all cool. By the way, Red Yellow Saba. Okay, we got to take a peek. We got to at least take a sneak peek at Red Yellow Saba. Y'all know this is one of my favorite decks right now. At least the people who follow the channel know I love this. I think this deck is criminally underrated and criminally underplayed. So check it out, guys. This Sabo list is running 4 of the Zoros. This was very similar to the list we saw get top 32, but they're actually running the 4 aces and all 8 of the 2-cost mini versions of Luffy and Ace. Very interesting version here, and it looks like it got top 4 or third place. It looks like it got 3rd place in a 14-player tournament. That's just awesome, just absolutely awesome. But check this out, guys. One more feature I wanted to mention about this website is if you mouse over, I didn't click anything. If you mouse over one piece, look at this breakdown. Leader breakdown. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what it says in English. Leader breakdown. Oh, look at this. It's got all these placings for stuff like, of course, like the brown/orange color is bronze, silver, and then gold. And guys, check it out. Like you can any of these leaders. Like let's do one that has a lot of options. Oh, here's Gecko Moria. It's got 5 first-place finishes of their recorded matches. Look at this, guys. It has all of them right here, and then you can click on each one. And I guess this word right here means place, like lugar. I don't know how to say that, but that means placement. So first place, second place, first, second, first. So that's awesome. And then it's like, oh, I just want to see what this list is. Okay, I just randomly clicked on this one, and it's got the full deck list. I love that. Like I said, guys, I'm like when it comes to what I do, I'm always looking for the next new list. I'm looking for the next new tech that people figure out for a deck. So seeing this, big shout out to the person in my Discord that linked this to me. Can't remember the name off the top of my head, but thank you so much. And I'll have this link down in the comment section below as well for anyone who likes to follow this stuff. Okay, so that was that. Let's check out some games on the sim. So we've got a pretty good idea of how. Whoops, that's not what I'm trying to get. There it is. We've got a pretty decent idea of how, of what works for Nefeltari Vivi, at least as much as it does work. It's not the best yet. We know that. This is not S tier yet. But let me show you guys another direction that I'm exploring with Nefeltari Vivi in OP07. And I think, actually, I'm sorry. I believe this is more for OP08, to be honest, guys. We'll see as we get into it. Okay, play, volume is off, speed. I think I already set this one. I tried to set the first one for the day. There we go. Okay, so we're off to it here, guys. Notice what's in my hand. I am trying out right now with Vivi, with Nefeltari Vivi, a version centered around the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff. I just think it's solid. I think the package is just strong by itself, and then your whatever leader you have just complements it in the ways that it does. Okay, and having Nefeltari Vivi as our leader. Okay, I'm going to 2K counter out of that, obviously, right? Having Vivi as our leader, we're going to want to draw a bunch of cards, so we're going to want to counter out pretty aggressively. Well, 7 Warlords of the Sea kind of wants to do that anyway, right? We're fine with it. Okay, so let's see here. I am running the Chaka there. The Chakas are interesting. So that card right there, Chaka, the 3-cost card, it has on attack, I think Dawn times 1 on attacking, give minus 3,000 power to a character, and then KO if it's a 0, I believe. Okay, played out the Gecko Moria. Okay, let me pause real quick. So 6 Dawn turn, I play out the Jinbei, which allows me to cheat out the Gecko Moria. Gecko Moria then grabs a 7 Warlords of the Sea type card from my trash, which was the 2K counter that I got back. Or it might have been the Jinbei, excuse me. I think I counted out with the Jinbei or something. I can't remember. But whatever the case is, now I had 2 Dawn left because that was just 4 Dawn to cheat out those 2 4-cost bodies, which is massive. So I'll just use my Nefeltari Vivi to give the Jinbei rush, and I'll draw a card. Okay, do y'all see where, like, that is... I do think there is some potential here. I'm not saying this version is better than the one we've already seen, but I do think there's some potential here. And you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below as you're watching the games. You know what I mean? As you're watching, start thinking about, like, no, I don't think it's as good, or maybe it's as good or worse. You know, you tell me. But I know right now my opponent is in quite a bit of trouble. Okay, they're going to load up 9 here, load up for 10, and they're going to swing at face. Well, I'm just going to give them 3 2K counters. because I'm trying to get cards out of my hand anyway because my leader effect, and I don't want to take a double attack with Banish. Okay, and I just countered out of everything there, right, guys? I just countered out of everything except one attack, I think. Okay, well, right here, they have 2 cards left in hand. Time to eat up the board. Time to start eating up the board. And because they're not at 2 or less life, their ohm is a 5k. And that is one thing you're going to be able to do with this list, you know, that helps, you know, that can really help you just bully the board. Because what is my opponent going to do here? And notice what I have in hand. Yeah, so this is OP08, guys. Like I said, this is technically OP08. Well, at least, you know, start thinking about it now, right? Silver's Rayleigh, that card in this leader, a 10 Dawn turn now is Rayleigh does everything he does, but he also has Rush and draws a card when you play him. Like, that is like the new, that's the thing that really started, it got my gears turning when I was checking it out. Okay, what's he going to do? He does not counter out. I'm going to swing into him for 5 now, and I've got Chaka to get rid of this Onami. Okay, he got a Shura trigger. Seems good. Those triggers. I might have a video soon talking about triggers because I don't want to talk too much about it. Hang on one second. I give him Rush. I'm going to swing for 6 at life, pop the Onami because that was the bigger power target. And then he 2k counters out, and I have a full board. I have a full board, and I have 2 Dawn active. That's actually very relevant right now because look what's in my hand. That is another reason why I like running the 7 Warlords of the Sea deck, and I will show this deck list after this, right? I like running the 7 Warlords of the Sea version of the deck because you can play pretty low to the ground. Like, all my characters in my hand are 4 costs or lower, except a few, right? Except Silver's Rayleigh, but that's like my boss character. And then everything else is 2k counters, and yeah. Okay, well, my turn. He did hit me. I did take that because I would rather, like, sit on my counters for this next turn so that I can get out that way. Okay, so right here, I think I just go all 5s here. I believe I go all 5s, and, you know, and then I don't know how I popped the Holy, I can't remember. Gets a Shura, seems good. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm not too worried, to be honest, guys. I'm not too worried at this point because he still has to survive, right? Like, that's still a thing. So I swing for 5 here, and it's like, okay, watch this. He takes it. Okay, pause. Find lethal, guys. Let's see if you can find lethal. He has no Dawn active. He has no blockers. He has 5 cards in hand, and I have a 5k attacker left. So, in other words, if every single card in our opponent's hand is a 2k counter, the highest he can get is 15,000 power. Okay, well, that's what I can swing for. So, GG, right? This was a checkmate. He got greedy, and I guess he did not do the math. Because guess what? Like, yeah, look at that. Guys, even with the 2 of the 0 cost 3k counters, it still doesn't matter, right? That's still worse than having a bunch of 2k counters. Because this card is a 2k and it turns another card into a 1k. So the only way out of that was if he had a Dawn open for some type of 1 cost event. All right, GG. Next game. All right, so that was against Green Yellow Yamato. Next up we have Vivi versus Enel. Okay. And Yamato is still a very relevant leader, guys. For those who are not aware, I know a lot of people might be thinking, like, no one plays Yamato anymore. Well, they should be. It's not a bad leader. And I think, actually, if you build the version that has more life gain to it, where it's more of the mid-range fortressy style, I think you can do pretty decently into Red-Purple Law. Okay, so right here against Enel, I'm going to cheat out. I'm going to play out Jinbei, cheating out Edward Weevil to draw a card. I've got 2 bodies on the board. I'm feeling pretty good right now. Okay, swings for 4. I actually want to get down to 3 life against this Enel, so he can't pop my characters with Gadatsu. That was a play mistake if he had Gadatsu in hand there, and he might have. I don't know if he did or not. He plays out that that card there, the Cracker, but I'm not too worried about that either. I was going to say, I think I hit this with a, I think I just curve out here. It's like swing 5, swing 6. Yep. Oh, yeah, turn on your Cracker, right? Well, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to be able to swing with him. And then next turn, I'll just keep playing on curve, playing out Rayleigh and pop it. He swings 10 into my Weevil. I let it go, pop that, and now again we're just going 5. We're going 8, unless he takes this. Yeah, if he takes it, I'm not going to swing. I think technically I should have swung with a Boa Hancock there because I could probably counter out of just about anything he swings me at that Boa Hancock. But, okay, I guess it didn't really matter. No, it did. See, it did matter. I ended up having a double 2k counter out of that attack when I wouldn't have had to if it was Bow. I could have just done a 1k counter. So that stuff does matter, guys. It does add up. It absolutely does add up. Okay, so right here, I don't remember what I do, but I think I should go Jinbei into Edward Weevil or even Gecko Moria. Either one's fine. Yeah, so I choose to go with Weevil. Now I'm going to give the Weevil Rush with my leader effect and draw a card, and I've got 2 Dawn active for Rad Beam plus Happiness Punch. I think I just leave 1 Dawn open for the what's it called? The Rad Beam. Which actually, excuse me, that's what it was. I can't even use Rad Beam yet, right? Like Rad Beam, you have to be at 2 or less life. So sorry about that. Okay, so he pops it with Yamato. We knew that was coming eventually. All right, right. Okay, but I have a lot of options here. Gecko Moria can pull back cards from my trash that are 7 Warlords of the Sea. I go ahead and do that, draw a card, and I'm going to pass here. This is a scary spot to be in for the Enel player, to be honest. Because, okay, he's going to swing for 9, that's fine. Swing for 5, I need to counter out of that no matter what. Okay, honestly, the Jinbei is the right call. Yep, because I can just get that back if I need to, and he gains a life with Ace. Okay, he gains a life with Ace. So now what? I'm actually going to be very aggressive here. That card's super annoying. I'm going to replace the Jinbei, though, with my Rayleigh. Minus 3,000 power to the what's her name there? The Yamato. And now I'm going to start smacking into that. And I've got 2 Dawn active for Rad Beams. And I'm debating whether or not I want to swing at this with my Rayleigh to force the other Shirahoshi to try to go for lethal next game. Or next turn, rather. And I do that. That was a little bit risky, but I do have quite a bit of counter power in hand, guys. I've got 3 2K counters, a 1K. I have the 0 cost event as well, so I'm not too concerned, right? I mean, again, I think I should have done that a little bit differently, but that's fine. Okay, he's gonna swing 14 into 8. I'm like, do I give him this? And I guess I decided absolutely not. I'll just start getting these cards out of my hand, because if I untap next turn, then I can just start using my my stuff. My leader effect and these other events that actually cost. He's got 2 Dawn left. I got out of every attack there. What's he going to do? I guess he could play out Shirahoshi. That's probably his follow-up here. Or maybe he's running Elthor. He could be running Elthor or some type of 1 or 2 cost events. I don't know. But right here, it's like, okay, I'm going to start getting some cards from your hand here. You're going to have to give me cards. So he's got that new card. I can't even remember the name of it. Flame Split. That card is a 1 cost. Let me pause for just a second. He has another one there. So Flame Split is a 1 cost card that gives your leader plus 1,000 power for the turn. It can be used as a main or a counter. And it gives your leader plus 1,000 for the entire turn and taps down a 4 or less. So that was very nice. That's how he tapped down my Gecko without me getting any effect from it. He uses another one, and now he's a little bit stronger. And now I have options, right? So now it's like, okay, maybe I start going for the board. We'll go 9 into Yamato, get a card out of hand. We'll go 9 more into Yamato, get another card out of hand, and now I can play this. You're not going to be able to swing with one of these characters, and I have 2 Dawn active this time for double Rad Beam. Okay, I'm feeling pretty safe here, because he can only swing with Enel or Yamato, and I have double Rad Beam. So it's like I have something for both attacks. If he tries to go face, okay, going for face is absolutely crazy here, but it's like, okay, at the same time, I need to bait him into for sure doing that, and then I get a Bad Manners Kit course. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just minus 3,000 your guy. So go ahead and swing for 10 if you want to. Because that was his plan this turn. He was going to go for game. Little does he know, though, he wasn't going to be getting out of that, right? Let me, then I do the Happiness Punch. Okay? Because double Rad Beam, guys, let me explain. So double Rad Beam would have... Actually, did I do the math wrong on that? I wonder if I messed up the math. Because if he had swung for all of that, it was 4 plus 9 goes to 13. Double Rad Beam gets me to 13. So as long as there was some type of counter in my final card, I would have been fine. That was a little risky, though. Okay, for full disclosure, that was very risky. Okay, let's see what he does here. I'm up against the wall. I have to win this turn. I'm going to swing 7. This should get 2 cards out of hand. Okay, and he doesn't even have that. Okay, let's see what he gets. No trigger. So now we're going 9. Let's see what he gets. Of course, gets a beige, but now we're going to go for 14, and there's no way he's getting out of that. GG. Very cool deck there. I probably could have played that a little bit better in a few areas, but at the same time, the deck does seem okay, this 7 Warlords version of the deck. Okay, last one. This is against Red-Green Chopper. And I think I made a few revisions to this version. This is not my the version that we just saw in the other 2 games. I made a few slight revisions, adding in the Sengokus. Okay, got the puddings in there, of course. I think I've had that. I just think I didn't play them. So, for those who have not seen Red-Green Chopper, this list is a nuisance. This list is an absolute menace because of the 3-cost 5K he just played. Not the 3-cost 3K Bunny, the 3-cost 5K Chopper. It has on play, you do a top 5 on play and when attacking, excuse me, you do a top 5 search to grab I think it's a 4,000 power or less animal character, something like that. I'll check in a second, because I'll show you guys at the end of the video the list I'm working on. Okay, so I swing in for 3 at the bunny to get a card out of hand. He gives me a 1k counter. Sure. I play out Jinbei, which cheats out an Edward Weevil. I draw a card from it. My hand is stacked. Okay, and this is kind of the direction. This is why I like this version of the deck. I got the perfect curve. Now, this guy got an insane curve as well. Look at what he did. The leader effect for Chopper allows you to put 3 Rested Dawn on your animal or Drum Kingdom characters, or something like that. But you can put 3 Dawn on your characters here. So he's going to swing for 5. I need to counter out of this. Pudding is not very good against rush decks because they're just blowing cards from their hand as much as they can. Okay, but he still has 3 Dawn left to play this turn. 5 into 2, you can have that thing. I don't care anything about that. Okay, but I still have 4 life. So one perk of having a 5 life leader is it is like just inherently better against aggro decks because you have the 1 extra life that you can take, and that translates over to another card you draw. So he's going to swing for 6 here. Honestly, I think I should counter out. That's just me speaking to y'all right now. I honestly think I should be countering out of this attack. I don't remember what I do, though. I might take it. Okay, I do 2k counter out. I think that's the right call. And he passes the turn. Okay, so I'm going to swing 7 into 5 here because that card, like I said, that card is a nuisance. That card is a menace, guys. It generates so much value. Swing 5 into 3. He gives it to me. That's the right play. And then I'm going to block his Chopper because remember, guys, that Chopper came out in EB01. Attach 2 Dawn, swing, minus 2,000 power to a character for the turn. That card is very strong. That card is, you know, very, very powerful. He's got another 3 cost 5k Chopper. Oh, man, that card is so frustrating to deal with because, like, you spend all this time trying to clear his board, and then he drops that guy on you, which cheated out. That card I have to swing into now. Let me there's the card right there. So it is on your turn, of course, on play, when attacking, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and from among them, play up to 1 animal-type character with power of 4,000 or less rested, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So it is a 4,000 power or less animal character. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right, so he does the leader effect to attach these to his animal characters, and now he just got extra value there, right? Because that little bear on the far left, he can give plus 1,000 power to a character as long as he has 1 Dawn attached. Seems good. So he's going to swing 7 into my Jinbei. I can't even counter out, so I have to let this go. Okay. And if you're playing in a real game at this point, guys, this is where you fake you have a 2k counter. Like, this is where you put 2 cards forward, like you have a 2k, 1k you're ready to give them, and then pull it back, like, all right, you can have it. Okay, that's a good time to fake for those who don't know. 7 into 6, I got to let him have that one. I just couldn't get out of it. But that's okay. I've got Boa now where I can start smashing into his board. Okay, and I have Rayleigh, or I can go Boa, you know, plus leader effect. Like, I have a few options here. I think the better effect here is to go... So, yeah, this is the right call, in my personal opinion. You go Boa. Now, that Tony Chopper cannot attack. I'll give this character rush, and I'll smash into one of your, you know, one of the 3Ks that are tapped. I have 1 Dawn active for a Rad Beam if it gets to that point. It only gives me plus 2,000 currently, though. So, you know, I have to be very careful with that. That's one thing to really pay attention to, guys, where you might be able to argue like it's better to go down to 2 life early with a deck that runs Rad Beam, but at the same time, now you're kind of giving up potential, you know, easy blocks over the course of the game. You have to weigh your choices. You have to play the deck and see what works best for you. Okay, so he did this new, notice I had it highlighted on the side there, that 2-cost event in their trash gives minus 2,000 power to one of your opponent's characters and plus 1,000 power to, I think, up to 3 of your characters. Let's look real quick, guys, just because I had it up on the screen. So there it is. This card, it's called Cloven Hoof Razio. The trigger's not bad. Minus 3,000 power to a character leader for the turn. But activate Bane, give up to 3 of your characters plus 1,000 power for the turn, and then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power for the turn. There are some ideas going around right now, guys, to use this card in red-purple law. There are some ideas. I'm not saying people are using that, but I do reading every now and then. I check out games on the on YouTube, and kind of interesting, right? Buff your whole board, minus 2,000, bottom deck with leader effect, move in from there. Like, it's just wild, right? There's some interesting cards coming out. Some interesting options, I should say, coming out. Tech cards and whatnot. So he's just eating up my board at this point. I can't really do much, unfortunately. I have to let him start going into the board here. But next turn I will be on 10 Dawn. Okay? Next turn I will be on 10 Dawn. and I can play out Rayleigh, which will pop one character, hinder another, and I can swing into another. I'll be able to deal with 3 characters with Rayleigh in this deck. Guys, Rayleigh, and I know that's OP08, so this guy just quits, unfortunately, because he messed up. He did not attach 2 Dawn to this character. So let me explain real quick. I don't think this guy was winning this game. I don't think there was any shot this guy was winning this game, but let me at least explain what he was trying to do there. So he cannot attack with this new Chopper card, and he played out this bunny for the turn. So he was going to attach 2 Dawn with the leader's effect to Chopper, attach 1 Dawn to Chopper, and then use the leader effect to attach the other Dawn, and then he was going to swing 6 plus 2, so 8 into 6, because remember, that would have dropped my my boa down when he attacks into it with his Chopper, and I'm actually just going to let him have it, and then he's probably going to swing this into life, swing the polar bear into life. However, that's cute and all. I'll take that hit, by the way, and get a 2k counter from it. Next turn, I go up to 10 Dawn, and I play out Rayleigh, and watch what Rayleigh does. Rayleigh, in this next turn, would have gone, okay, I would have gone, let me see here. I'm going to swing into this Chopper, so I don't have to mess with that. So it's going to be minus 3,000 power to this Chopper. Excuse me. I almost messed it up. Minus 3,000 power to one of these side characters over here. It doesn't matter which one, to be honest, because both of them are kind of... Actually, I would say it's probably... No, excuse me. This is a win attacking. So minus 3,000 power to this bunny. Minus 2,000 power to this Chopper. Pop it with Rayleigh's effect. And then smash... And then give Rayleigh rush and smash into the Chopper that is tapped. Okay? His whole board is nullified now. His entire board is nullified. And if I wanted to, actually, hear me out, guys. Hear me out. Another thing I could have done, this is another option. I could have gone minus 3,000 power on this Chopper, minus 2,000 power on this bear, or actually, excuse me, on this bunny. Pop the bear, because he's at 3,000 power or less just by itself, and then smash into the Chopper, and nullified like 4 characters on this board with 1 Rayleigh. And then guess what? Next turn, I'm playing another Rayleigh. You know what I mean? So I know this guy got upset that he didn't do that properly to attack into this, and I've done that before too. You know, sometimes you rage quit when you make the mistakes, like, why did I do that? But okay, he could have had this character, and that's fine, and I still was going to pop his entire board with like a 10 Dawn play next turn. Okay, good stuff. So that was the 3 games I had for you guys for Red Blue Vivi. I will revisit this leader in the future, and we'll mess around with a lot more stuff, you know, going forward. This is the list I settled on towards the end. I took out the Chaka for a Sengoku in that last game that we just saw. Chaka would have been leagues better, right? I mean, just like way, way, way better than Sengoku in what I was just doing. Because first of all, Sengoku gets over one of my strongest cards in the entire deck, Rayleigh, right? If not the strongest card in the entire deck, to be honest, because I'm not running any of the big cards. But everything else is very straightforward. Look at this, guys. 4 Crocodile, 4 Law, 4 Mihawk. That's 12 2K counters right up front. Then I have 4 Jinbei, 4 Gecko, 4 Weevil. So I've got a 12-card package of playable, what are they called? 7 Warlords of the Sea characters. Like these solid 4-cost cards that just play out and they do their thing. Then I've got 12 2K counters that I just want to keep in my trash to get value from Gecko Moria, right? Whoops, almost forgot to move my face. Okay, Chaka is good because, again, guys, notice what this card does. So this ends up being, this is how I would read this card. This card is a 6-cost, hear me out, this card is a 6-cost, 6,000 power rush card that gives up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power for the turn, and then KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 0 power or less. I call it a 6-cost because you're going to want to play it for 3, attach 1 Dawn for the when attacking effect, and then pay 2 from your Nefeltari Vivi to give it rush. Oh, and then it also draws a card. So, like, think about it. If there was a card in the game that was a 6-cost, 6,000 power rush card that could give him minus 3,000 power to a character for the turn, popping a 0-cost power character for the turn, and drawing a card, everyone would run that card, even if it did not have a counter, I think. I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of the idea behind this card. And hey, if you need to, just drop him down right on turn 2. Just put a body on the board if you absolutely need to. But I think this card is excellent, guys. I think this card is very, very solid. I'm a big fan. And honestly, even just later in the game, think of it like this. So the Dawn times 1 when attacking effect, you don't have to pop a 0-power character to do this effect. I can just give a character minus 3,000 power and then smash into it with my other characters. And, you know, if, you know, this is a rare situation, but let's just say the situation happens, right? It's a possibility, right? If you have a Chaka on the board and you attach 1 Dawn and attack into something and then minus 3,000 power to a character for the turn, well, You can do another minus 3,000 power the next turn with Rayleigh to that character. Or excuse me, hang on. I just messed up, guys. So you have a 10 Dawn turn. Chakra's already on the field. So attach 1 Dawn and swing to give a character minus 3,000 power for the turn. Then Rayleigh can do another minus 3,000 power and pop it with the 3,000 power left over for his effect. So that is just, I don't know, there's a lot of potential value between these two characters. Very, very strong effects. Radical Beam, we know what that does. Happiness Punch, this is a solid, it's kind of, I would almost rather run Guard Point, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, the more I was messing with it, I was like, you know what? I probably should just run Guard Point. It is what it is. Because Guard Point doesn't have the stipulation of if your leader's active or not. And believe it or not, guys, that actually came into play when I was playing against someone and they hit me with a Hody Jones, you know, or no, excuse me. Well, no, sorry. The Hody Jones tapped down my Dawn. So that, in that case, it wouldn't have actually mattered. Speaking of which, maybe in the place of this Happiness Punch, maybe I should have gone the 0 cost 3,000 power events. Let me bring out the blue cards real quick. We'll look at it real quick. Let it load in for just a second. Like the 0 cost blue one is called Gum Gum Rain, and the red one is called Bad Manners Kit Course, right? Okay, there we go. Let me go to the events. If I type 0, will it do it? No, it doesn't. Okay. So for the events, here we go. Guard Point's what I was just talking about. Just a 1 cost 3K. Seems good. But the other one, the 0 cost, let me just type in Gum Gum. Let me see if that does it. There we go. Perfect. So you got Gum Gum Rain. This is just a 0 cost 3K. And then Bad Manners Kit Course is... And I think... Okay, so the only thing that separates these cards, really, since we're not running any searchers in this version of the deck... And by the way, you don't have to run searchers, guys. You draw a card every turn. You know what I mean? I mean, you can run searchers. It wouldn't hurt. But I'm just saying you don't really need it. But here's what's going to come... What it's going to come down to in this deck. Would you rather be able to bounce a 2 or less back to their owner's hand from the trigger, or would you rather be able to give a character minus 3,000 power for the turn? Honestly, I think this effect is just better. So like an immediate swap I would do for this list is just right there, right away. Instantly do that, and it is already a better deck in my opinion. There are some other options, of course, too, guys. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. Another one we're going to look at real quick. Okay, let me go to it. Sorry, guys. I'm about to delete every one of these, by the way. I'm about to delete every single one of these and just start fresh, because I've got so many different things. Look at this, guys. Red, yellow, gas guzzler. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. Okay, so this is another list that I was messing with before what we just saw. And it was okay. It was very similar, but I was trying out the Jozu plus Sengoku package, where it's like, okay, I can play out Sengoku, do a top 5 search, play out Jozu, bounce the card back, the Sengoku back to my hand to bounce a 6 or less back to my opponent's hand. It was cute, but I found myself just countering out every single time. Like, I think the meta is just too aggressive, and bouncing a card back to your opponent's hand, not ideal, right? I mean, just simply not ideal, because now they get another on-play effect. And it only hits a 6 or less. Maybe if it hit like an 8 or a 10 or less or something, or like, you know, an any cost character, then it might be worth it. But as is, guys, it was a 1K counter in my hand every single time. And it was like, okay, I could have something else here. And I think I had one other one. I could have sworn I had the, I must have gotten rid of it. Blitz. Okay, this was it. So this was the other list I was working on. This is in the works, guys. This is what we're messing with. Hear me out, okay? Let me cook, right? Okay. Igaram, or Igaram, however you say this guy's name. Check this out. He is a 2 cost, 3,000 power, 1K counter searcher for Alabasta Kingdom. Well, guys, you would not believe some of these cards. This card is Animal and Alabasta Kingdom. This card, Tony Chopper, is Animal and Alabasta Kingdom. This card is just Animal. I think there was one more. Was it this guy? Yeah, excuse me. It was no, it wasn't this Chopper. Maybe that was it. No, that's what it was. It was one of the animals. Where is it's the 1 cost. Do I not have him in here anymore? There he is. He's right in front of me. Karu, Animal and Alabasta Kingdom. So why do I keep saying both of them? Because while this is a top 5 searcher for Alabasta Kingdom, remember, this Tony Chopper is a top 5 animal searcher on play and when attacking. And check this out, guys. Nefeltari Vivi can give the card Rush. Like, I can play this Chopper to on play out a character, right? Then give him Rush and attack to play out another character potentially. And that's why I was running so many of these little 1 cost 3K animals. So that way I can always hit something with Tony Chopper and even potentially with this Tony Chopper. Because like I guess like the dream pull or the dream play is, can he, yeah, excuse me. I was going to say, so the dream play would be like, okay, Tony Chopper, hang on, with a 3, Okay, on a 5 Dawn turn, that's all you need for what I'm about to say, guys. Hear me out. Check this out. On a 5 Dawn turn, if you play out Tony Chopper, and let's say he cheats out a 3-cost Tony Chopper, because notice, he doesn't care what the name is. It just has to be a 4,000 power or less character. So if he cheats out Tony Chopper, you can then cheat out something like, you know, this blue-finned elephant tuna from your hand, right? Because he doesn't care what color, this card doesn't care what color the character is. Then you pay 2 with your leader to give this card rush, and you draw a card from the leader effect, and you attack with this card that you just played for 5. And then you play out another, just whatever other animal from there. I mean, you know, I guess technically if you get into another Tony Chopper into another animal, you know, something like this Komachio or Karu, you're off to the races, right? It just, I'm going to be honest, I did try this version out and got steamrolled pretty much every single game, just being completely transparent with you guys. So, but I think there's something there. You know, like I think maybe the list needs to be revised. I need to spend more time playing it. And I didn't go against any red-purple law. Like, maybe this deck would be really good against something like red-purple law, where it can only remove like 1 or 2 characters at a time. Whereas I think I played against a lot of decks that were like, I was playing against a lot of decks that were like green, yellow, and black. Like, I played against some Bonnies. I played against some Yamatos, I think. I played against yellow Enel. And then I think I played against black Lucci. And it just seemed like, man, whatever I play just goes away nowadays. So who knows? Red-Purple Law has a similar effect where they can pop something every turn, but they can typically only pop 1 thing every turn from the leader effect, and it's setting them back a little bit. Even, you know, Black Maria fixes a lot of it, but you guys see what I'm saying. I think there's some potential here is all I'm saying. I think there's something here. Maybe I'm trying to hang on too much to this, to the bigger stuff here, the 6, 8, 10 curve, because that's, so here's my logic. And again, I will revisit all this in the future. But this is very similar to what they were messing around with over on where was that list? On this list. See, in this list, they were just going straight animal cards plus Straw Hat. But I think it might be better to run Alabasta Kingdom animal type. And Alabasta Kingdom type and animal type, I think, would be a better combo. We'll have to see. And I will link this video in the comment section below if you guys want to watch what happens here. I don't want to spoil it. So good stuff there. Like I said, we're working on it, okay? We're working on it, guys. We're working on it. We're trying to get there. So good stuff either way, though. And please, as usual, guys, if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, put them down in the comment section below. I love reading those. All right, going on from there. We got the art critique part here. We're done with the red-blue Nefeltari Vivi guide part. Now we're moving into the art critique, and then we'll you know, finish off the video from here. So we got Kyros, and this is a card that I picked for a specific reason. Number one, I like the composition, I like the colors, and I like a certain technique that's going on in this one. Let me show you guys real quick. Okay, first of all, let me just draw this across. Notice what the sword is doing. I'll use my favorite color for these, which is green. We'll make it 3D so it pops, and I can move it later. And there we go. So right away, the sword is like popping into the foreground, right, into our space. Kyros is attacking us, right? They love to do this. Okay, we do have some other circles going on. You know, we got some circle shapes going on right here. Got another one right under it, right there. We got these circles here. That's kind of more of a distraction. Same thing. I don't know if that was even part of the composition. It's just there for a little bit of a distraction. But I do want to show you guys something else that's going on. Really cool. So that's that, right? So there's a lot going on right there with the gleam of the sword. But now check this out behind that. I'm going to zoom in. Hang on. Click on this. This right here. Do y'all see what's going on here? I'm just going to take the brush for a second and just use the marker tool. These lines, oops, let me use the green. Look at these lines, guys. This going on here. What is going on? The artist is trying to show, you know, motion. How do you show motion on a 2-dimensional surface that doesn't move? Like, this is not a GIF, right? Like, or some type of moving video. This is a picture, right? This is a 2D picture with nothing else going on. So how do you show motion? Well, some things, one of the techniques that artists will use is this blurring effect. Like, look at this, guys. I'm zooming in on the muscle here. Do you see, like, on his arm? They're doing this blurring effect right here. First of all, this is more like light going on right here. This is not so much the blurring effect. Watch, as soon as I remove this green, you'll probably see it if you don't already. Okay, watch this. As soon as I remove it, you'll notice these like little rays here. That's more shining from the blade, right? So that's actually, let me recenter. I don't know why I pulled that over. So let me recenter this. grab the circle tool and show you what's going on there. This is what's actually going on there. This is the power behind that, this sword strike that Kyros is doing. This attack he's doing, this is like the power of it. That's what that green is over here. But let's not focus too much on that. Notice the actual arm itself, especially back here, they did a type of blurring effect to give this, you know, this action, like the attack is coming at you. And that's something, you see that way more in like the anime world, whereas in the traditional or classical world of art, you rarely see something like this, if ever, if ever. I don't know when they first started experimenting with this blurred effect, but it's something you just didn't see back in the day. It's really, I'm not saying there's zero examples, and someone might be able to be like, oh no, you know, here's this example from like the the 1500s or something. Okay, again, I'm not saying there's no example, but it's very rare in the classical world to show motion with the blurring. But with a lot of the anime stuff, because, you know, anime is just, you know, how do I say this? In traditional classical art, you had a masterpiece, right? It was just one massive. Some of these masterpieces you see from like Leonardo, right? They're huge. Okay, guys, imagine the Sistine Chapel. The Sistine Chapel, I believe, is 70 foot. It's 70 feet long by about 20 feet. I think these are not the exact dimensions. Do not quote me. But the actual roof is like 70 feet long by about 15 to 20 feet across, and it's 40 feet up in the air. Okay, understand what Michelangelo was going through, the psychological torment that Michelangelo was going through when he was painting this piece on the Sistine Chapel ceiling. He's 40 feet in the air on scaffolding. Okay, we're talking 1400 scaffolding, by the way, not what we have today, not the scaffolding we have today. We're talking 1400 scaffolding, and he's painting looking up, right? Can y'all see? Like I'm trying to show like looking up. Okay, he's painting laying on his back or standing up, and you know, it depends on the level of the scaffolding. But he was either on his back or looking straight up, painting upwards like this on a canvas that is 70 feet long. Okay. Wild. I think it took him something like 15 to 20 years to complete this. I don't know the exact number, but unbelievable, right? So for something like that, those are just individual panels that Michelangelo did of whatever scenes were requested by the church, right? Well, in this situation, you know, the artists nowadays are like, all right, we want to show, you know, they get to make up their own thing, right? Whereas stuff from, you know, masterpieces, a lot of the masterpieces that you'll see from ancient times were of, you know, stuff from the church, because the church had a lot of the money, right? You see how that works. Whoever's got the money gets to pick what they want painted. Well, in this situation now, we have more freedom as artists to draw whatever we want to, and to paint what we want, into whatever subject matter is that we want. Well, in this world of One Piece, this guy Kyros, in this panel here, for this card, we want him attacking into the user. Okay, so the artist said, all right, well, how do I make this, you know, dynamic? I don't want a static pose. I don't want, you know, just a picture of Kyros standing here like a soldier. You know, that would be perfect for the one-legged toy soldier stuff. Spoiler warning, too late, right? But that'd be good for that. But for this is human Kyros attacking. He's going at his opponent, and it's kind of us in this picture, right? He's coming at us. Well, the blurring effect is so strong for that, because it gives the sense of motion for us viewers. It gives the illusion of motion, because that's what art is, right? There is no person named Kyros, right? This is someone's drawing. This is from someone's imagination. The character doesn't exist. It's in Oda's head, right? So that's what art is an illusion. And the better you are at depicting the illusion, the more believable it is, the cooler it looks, the better the storyline goes around it, and all that good stuff. So just really incredible stuff here. I spent a lot of time on that one, but hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. And if you have any questions, by all means, don't hesitate to comment there. So as far as the color palette goes, it's actually pretty muted colors, like this red, burgundy, maroon here, very dark reds going on. I love the veins here, man. This guy was a beast, right? Like look at his arms, dude. This guy was an absolute beast. As far as anatomy goes, this artist did an excellent job. It's like they basically, you know, I don't know who all here watches or like follows any kind of muscle, you know, muscle builders or anything like that. But this guy is basically Chris Bumstead's body and then Kyros' face, right? Look up Chris Bumstead if you don't know who I'm talking about. He's a modern day weightlifter, but he's absolutely shredded, incredible physique. And that's basically who this guy is. Kyros is, like I said, it's like the best classic physique muscle builder's body with whatever Kyros' face is supposed to look like there. He's got the mouth. The mouth there is like agape. You know, he's just like attacking. You know, like basically roaring at his opponent here. He's just all in, and yeah, really good job here. I like how the capes come up. It gives this illusion of motion. If the cape was down, you know, if it was just like laying flat, it wouldn't look like he did anything. Because what happens when you move with fabric? The fabric moves with you. And if the fabric has nothing to attach to, like, you know, like shirts are fitted to our body. But if it was a cloak on my back and I started running really fast, you know, for me that's probably like 2 miles an hour. But you know, if I start running as fast as I can, and the wind's going to push the cape back, right? Or if I had like a jacket wrapped around me, it's going to push it back a little bit, right? Good stuff. Really good job. Love this kind of stuff. Great composition. Again, I kind of skipped over it a little bit, but the main thing is the sword cutting the scene in half. On this side, we have the aggressor. You know, the face is on. Let me cut it in half again with this little tool here. Okay. Hang on, I gotta back out. There we go. So with this, I'm almost there. I'm struggling. All right, there we go. Make it 3D. Okay, so we got the aggressor on this side and the victim on the other side, splitting the pane in half at a diagonal, again, giving more dynamic. You know, it's making it more dynamic. The figure is not planted square, like, you know, just very resolute. No, he's moving. There's motion there. You know, the head is tilted forward. Let me get out the old-fashioned triangle tool here. Okay, this is a very common design when it comes to artists. It just grounds the piece so well. Okay, from elbow to elbow. Let me tilt it even more. That's kind of more what's going on. They did a good job doing that, and it gives this illusion of the person. They're coming at us. They're attacking into us or into the opponent, whoever it is. Really good stuff. Okay, I'm done. That's enough, guys. Enough rambling from me. Let me go ahead and bring up the playmat page. Okay, guys, here we go. Let me, wait, did I? Oh, there's one more thing I want to show, guys. So last night, had an epic moment in the One Piece TCG history books here, where me and Heart Pirates TCG, my good buddy Joey, we were at locals together because we live in the same city. We did a jersey swap. That's right, guys, because now that I've got the playmat, here's mine over here. I signed it for him right there, as you can see. You might have to zoom in a little bit. I don't know if you'll be able to or not. And then he signed mine for me right there. We did a jersey swap, just like what they do in basketball at the end of games and stuff like that, or name the sport, whatever sport it is. Just awesome. It was a good time, and I finally got to show off the mat at locals. And I just want to say big shout out to Joey, Heart Pirates TCG. He's going to be moving soon. He's basically like starting a new chapter. He's still in One Piece. He's not like leaving One Piece, but he's moving soon. Can't wait to see what he does next, you know, over there. I'm going to miss my guy, though, man. I'm going to miss him. Okay, so real quick, let me finish off now with this. All right, let me take off this logo slide thing, too. There we go. So big shout out to all the people who support me. Got a new page up here, guys. The first day, we went through 20 playmats. Really, really stoked about that. Really hyped. Thank you guys so much for everyone that has purchased. Still have plenty more for anyone who might be interested who did not know how many we're going to sell on the first day. Again, they're for $35 anywhere in the United States. For any of my local guys, $25 if you see me in person. $25 for the playmat. Easy peasy. And lastly, if you're overseas, if you're international, you're going to have to hit me up on Discord, and we'll figure out how much it'll cost to go to your place. But if you're international, it'll be $25 for the playmat, and then whatever the shipping and handling fee is. Because anywhere in the United States is basically a $10 fee. So it's like $25 for the mat, plus the $10 shipping and handling. I just round it to that, so it's easy. But if you're international, it's $25 for the mat, and then whatever that international fee is. Okay, shipping out of Florida. Okay, to wherever you live. So yeah, still got 80 mats left, guys. Hoping to keep these sales going to get this over with. Because the faster I get through this mat, the faster I'll move on to the next one. So really cool stuff there. Again, big shout out to you guys. Soto, Beams, Braden, Boros, Kane, Joseph, Elijah, Brock, Jack, Brian, Austin, Jeremy, Al, and Adam. And then to my local guys, Daniel, Jason, Melvin, Joey, Mike. Big shout out to you guys. And one guy, I didn't get your name last night. I'll find you at the next. I'll find you at the next locals. I know he was a Yu-Gi-Oh player. He was like the last guy I talked to the night. And all these players have mats now. And if you want it signed, make sure you put that like. Just tell me on Discord. That's the best way to do it. You can either do it on the PayPal thing like I set up there, or hit me up on Discord. Okay, so that's it for that. And lastly, of course, we still have the Patreon page. Notice I changed the thing as well. Hang on one second. We got the Vivi Pirates going on now, okay? That's like the new theme. If you want to join the crew, this is the way to do it, right? This is the easiest way to do it. I mean, all you guys are on the crew, but these guys have a special rank in the crew, right? Then we got the Vivi Pirates patron page. Big shout out to these guys as well. They're helping me out in all the ways they do. Asian Baka, Michael Powell, Tropical Bobcat, Van Buren, Patrick DG, Dragon JT, Seen By, and Optimistic Prime Brian. A lot of these guys also helped and got him out as well. Thank you guys so much, man. It's been real. It's been such a surreal experience. It's been amazing. So all right, I'm done rambling. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And any comments or questions, suggestions, put them in the comment section below. Until next time, guys. Peace.